Europe's governments are committed, we noted that ourselves in the Governing Council of the ECB, to pursue fiscal consolidation. Those within the euro area formally declared that they will take all measures needed to meet fiscal targets this year and the years ahead in line with excessive deficit procedure. They also say that when needed, they will take the precise additional commitments to accelerate fiscal consolidation and ensure the sustainability of their public finances. Fiscal consolidation is being put in place at the same time as we strengthen the resilience of the European banking sector. Publication of the detailed results of the harmonized pan-European stress test is an important step in the right direction. This test will increase transparency and enhance investors' confidence in Europe's banking sector, and will also contribute to restore the important intermediation role of the interbank market in channeling funds within Europe. At the same time, I have noted that the European Parliament approved significant curbs on bank bonuses as part of wider efforts to reform the financial sector. I know that en passant. Where do you go from there? As I have indicated, collectively, as European and global policymakers, we need to renewed confidence while reducing fiscal deficit and in making the financial system into one that supports the real economy. This needs to be a clear sense of direction. Sound public finances and a stronger and more resilient banking sector will strengthen the fundamentals of the European economy. Already prior to the economy, the euro area was among the least volatile economy in the world. I would like perhaps to ask for the projection of the first slide that I have, which shows the standard deviation of CPI inflation and of the real in a large number of countries, where you see the positioning of the euro area and of a number of big industrialized countries. I had given that chart a number of years ago in the Watchers Conference, so I thought it was perhaps good to update. And you can see when we go up to end of 2009 what we have. We have also the second slide, which is the very same standard deviation of CPI inflation and deep trended log real GDP in the euro area and in selected countries. And you see also there the positioning, that is the positioning of the euro area. So I think it illustrates what I'm saying on macroeconomic volatility. Once enacted and implemented fully, the new measures of fiscal consolidation and financial reform will help foster these fundamentals and turn the current cyclical upturn into sustained growth. As we have seen, some of the major signs that we are receiving for the economy are encouraging. Industrial production is rising. I had an occasion of mentioning that yesterday. I remain cautious and prudent, but I think it is important also to note that the second quarter of this year is very likely to be encouraging in comparison with the first. But as I have said, the crisis is not over. For the ECB's role as the guardian of the euro, this means, in the opinion of the Governing Council, first of all, to remain faithful to its primary mandate of delivering price stability in the medium term in line with its definition. In this respect, I only wanted to draw your attention to facts. Since the setting up of the euro, we had, at the moment I am speaking, taking into account 11.5 years approximately, we have a yearly average inflation of 1.98%. Less than 2, close to 2. It's not on purpose at 1.98. It is in line with our definition. No central banks since World War II. Among those who have given birth to the euro did better. This is the track record. As regards the future, I will ask perhaps in the next slides, which shows on the left side of this slide, the inflation expectations, break-even 5 years, 10 years, and 5 years and 5 years. And you see the solid anchoring of inflation expectations. Since August 2008, we wanted to see what had been the behavior of our inflation expectations during this period, a difficult period of intense crisis. And you see not only that we had a very good anchoring of inflation expectations measured on break-even, so it includes risk premia, but it's fully in line with our definition of price stability. And on the other side, you have, of course, not surprisingly, because we are in different universe in the United States, and there are explanations for the volatility that you see in expectations. But you see that we are in a especially well-anchored universe for inflation expectations. I would like to say that in these exceptional financial market circumstances that we are experiencing since 2007, the Governing Council of the ECB has decided some non-standard measures, you refer to it also, to help restoring a more appropriate market functioning. It started even the 9th of August 2007 when we decided for the first time to supply 24 hours liquidity on an unlimited basis and at fixed rate. And we did that to help restoring a more appropriate market functioning and a better transmission of our monetary policy. That monetary policy stance is always designed to deliver price stability and to be credible in this delivery. And that is the reason why we have a solid anchoring of inflation expectations. The securities market program is fully in line with this approach. And I would say that the Governing Council is constantly and carefully monitoring all developments and stands ready to do all that is necessary to maintain price stability. To go back to that in the question and answer session. Now let me say also that the crisis has given a lot of additional good reason to consider that our two-pillar strategy, which had been more or less criticized a number of years ago, is incorporating elements that prove to be very useful, particularly in the light of the recent circumstances. And later today, Jürgen will present the outcome of our enhanced monetary analysis that enlarges our toolkit to pursue this aim. I think this is very important that we have the overview by Jürgen Stark on what we are doing in this domain. Beyond our role as guardians of the euro, we also have to deliver on our responsibilities as part of European and global economic governance. And in this context, I would like to touch on the work program of the Van Rompuy Task Force, which was established by the European Council in March 2010, and in which I am participating myself on behalf of the Governing Council of the ECB. Vitor Constancio and Lorenzo Benismaghi will go into greater detail. But let me only mention, I will very carefully listen to what you said in introducing this conference, that my memory is that in 2004-2005, we had ourselves to fight, and to fight very fiercely against the will of some to considerably weaken the stability and growth pact. Some countries, and unfortunately the majority of the Council, didn't want to be singled out as engaging in the way to sanctions. I say sadly that the three major countries of the euro area and not to speak of others, but the three major countries, or the four major countries, were on the line that the pact should be weakened. We had even the qualification of stupidity on the pact, and that, of course, the sanctions should be without any teeth. I have the vivid memory of that. Medium-sized and small countries defended the pact, we defended the pact, and the Commission, I have to say. And as you might have a memory, we had a trial. It was something which was very brave. My interpretation of what happened then is that even if we saved the letter of the pact, we didn't save the spirit of the pact. The pact has been considerably weakened over time. And that is something that, for which we are paying a high price. The idea, even amongst economists, the idea that the pact was much too orthodox was something which was very well spread. And of course, with the benefit of the hindsight, it appears absurd today, but it was the case. So I think that it is extremely important that, with the benefit of the hindsight, we, in this task force, obtain this quantum leap of improvement of surveillance, improvement of, I would say, the set of sanctions which could be utilized, the quantum leap in terms of quasi-automaticity of the sanctions, not only in terms of prevention being formally improved, and also extension of the surveillance and the monitoring, not only on the fiscal aspect of the policies, but also on the competitive indicators, of the way the competitive indicators are monitored, followed, and that includes, of course, unit labor cost, that includes wages and salaries, particularly in the public sector, where the role model of the government might be decisive. It includes also, and that is very important, imbalances, external imbalances. Since 2005, we have asked the Governing Council of the ECB and myself, as President of the Governing Council in the Eurogroup, we have asked for engaging in this monitoring of competitive indicators. And I can tell you, it's not a secret, that I am making a point at each meeting of the Eurogroup with figures, drawing the attention of the government's concern of the importance of this monitoring of competitive indicators. This is part of what we consider decisive at the level of Europe. I have to say that we have to improve governance in view of the Governing Council at the level of the 27, and it is extremely important, particularly as regards competitiveness and the following up of the structural reforms that governance is improved at the level of the 27. The single market needs that, and the single market is the foundation of the European Union. And at the level of the single market with a single currency, as I said, we need a quantum leap of surveillance.